2,000-year-old scrolls from Vesuvius Eruption to be virtually unraveled with artificial intelligence. We're talking about the destruction of Pompeii. The fragile scrolls from the ancient city of Herculaneum have been destroyed by physical unwrapping, and so scientists plan to use AI and machine learning to virtually read their text. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius was 79 AD. It decimated the towns of Pompeii and Herculaneum. Everything, including an invaluable library of scrolls, was lost to this inferno. According to The Guardian, artificial intelligence and high-energy X-rays could make these documents legible once again. Although you can see on every flake of papyrus that there is writing, to open it would require that papyrus be really limber and flexible, and it's not anymore. This is what lead researcher Professor Brent Seal said. He chairs the Computer Science Department of the University of Kentucky. The two unraveled scroll seals and his team will use in their project belong to the Institut de France in Paris. In 1752, a staggering collection of 1,800 carbonized scrolls were unearthed at Herculaneum, the coastal town to the west of Vesuvius, less than 10 miles from Pompeii. In terms of historical significance, this collection comprises the only intact library from antiquity, most of it housed in the National Archaeological Museum in Naples. Some archaeologists believe the structure in which the scrolls were found, aptly named the Villa of the Papyri, belonged to Julius Caesar's father-in-law. To date, reading the scrolls has proven extremely difficult. When scientists have tried to unroll them, of course, they've almost completely come apart, and whatever ink is left fades after exposure to the air. And so Seals and his team have devised a method using cutting-edge technology that does not risk destroying the precious scrolls. Seals and his team have already proven their mettle when they use high-energy X-rays to virtually unravel a 1,700-year-old Hebrew parchment that was found in the Holy Ark of an Israeli synagogue in En-Gedi. It was found to contain text from the book of Leviticus. Unlike the En-Gedi scroll, however, many of the Herculaneum texts were not written with metal-based ink. As such, there's no visible contrast between the charcoal or soot-based writing and the papyrus itself in X-ray scans. That's where the UK advanced synchrotron, which is capable of projecting light brighter than the sun, comes into play. The facility uses electrons to produce a remarkably bright light, which can be used to study everything from fossils and airplane engines to vaccines and viruses. Seals thinks the facility, called the Diamond Light Source, will provide key information about the Herculaneum scrolls, and from there he and his team will use a type of artificial intelligence called machine learning to detect hard-to-spot fractions of the ancient writings. With the ultra-bright light, Seals explains, we will immediately see the internal structure of the scrolls in more definition than has ever been possible. The machine learning tool we're developing will amplify that ink signal by training a computer algorithm to recognize it pixel by pixel, from photographs of open fragments that show exactly where the ink is, vowel by vowel. Voxel by voxel, in the corresponding tomographic data of the fragments. And then they'll apply that same logic to the still rolled scrolls, enabling the machine to spot ink that is otherwise invisible to the naked eye. Seal's team has finished collecting X-ray data and are now focused on perfecting the system's algorithms, with application expected in a few months. He says the first thing we're hoping to do is perfect the technology so that we can simply repeat it in all 900 scrolls that remain unwrapped. For the most part, the writings in open scrolls are Greek philosophy around Epicureanism, which was a prevailing philosophy of the day, he said. There's a strong possibility that some of these 900 unfurled scrolls contain Latin text. Classical libraries are thought to have had both Greek and Latin section, but only a fraction of analyzed Herculaneum scrolls were written in Latin. University of Oxford papyrologist and classicist Dr. Dirk Obink, who's worked with the scroll team, cannot wait to find out what ancient library wonders will soon be discovered. He said a new historical work by Seneca the Elder was discovered among the unidentified Herculaneum papyri only last year, thus showing what uncontemplated rarities remain to be discovered there. Obing hopes some of the soon-to-be unveiled texts will contain works thought to be lost forever. The ancient collection could include poems by Sappho, for instance, or the treatise Mark Antony wrote about his drunkenness. Obink, at least, is pulling for that particular outcome. Mark Antony, not Antony, Mark Antony. He said, I would very much like to read that one. This article, 2,000-year-old scrolls from Vesuvius Eruption to be virtually unraveled with AI, originally created for All That Interesting, published here under Creative Commons. This is on Creative Spark by Steve McCambly. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.